types of input in JavaScript. Have you tried them? So we learned about three basic types of inputs. Input using query string, another one input using prompt, another one input using form elements. By using form elements we can do. We will see one more example with form elements. Yesterday we saw one example form elements using all drop downs. We used all the drop downs. By using drop downs we designed. Let's see another one. We will create another example how to handle the form related input. So this is the example we designed yesterday, and how we handle form input. Another example I will show you. So now here I am adding a simple link relation is style sheet and href node modules, and we have bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css. So container fluid, and here let's add a div, and this id I'm giving as some register container, or say add a container. Okay, in this we are having a new option like add new product. Some add new product, I designed a data list with data term. So product have a name, input type is text, id as txt name, we have price, and input type is equal to number, id as txt, so txt price, and another we have like city, and we have a drop down. So we have an option like Delhi and all this, and here we have option choose city, or say select city, and we have another is stock, and data definition we have a checkbox, input type is checkbox, so label available. So and we have a button. So these are all the details we are having, and we have a button. So add product. You see, this is the design we created. A simple form is created. Now what we want is whatever details entered inside this form, we want to display those details. Means we need to collect the details and display. So user can input by using this form. And if you want this form to pop up, and display, then what you do? If you want to pop up this one, then for this actually we will not use, this is a add container. We will configure like so a class as a model fade, and model have this inside model we need all the designer. So inside that model, inside this model we need a div, the class as what model dialog, and another div. Here we have a class model content, another div we have the class model header. In the header we have a heading add new product, and we will put a close button, so class btn close, and data bs dismiss, is equal to what? Model. Okay, so in the body, I will create a class. This is a model body. In the body, I will keep the form. All this form is kept inside the body, means the data list and all. And what we will do is this add product. We will keep that add product outside the body. We will have a class model footer. In the footer, we will keep this button. You can add some styles related. So what we will do is for this text box class as form control, and number also form control, class as form control. And for drop down, we have a class as what? Form select. It needs an ID LST cities. LST cities is the ID. Checkbox, we will keep an ID. So OPT, this is stock. That is the checkbox. You can use like CHK stock shortcuts. Actually, I am using naming rules. We generally call this as camel case. The names I am giving in a camel case. Camel case means first 3 characters, they are lowercase. After that, an uppercase letter will come. And remember, first 3 characters will tell what is the type of control. And rest of the word tells for what purpose it is. What type and what purpose. TXT means text box. Price means text box for price. Like that, we have a naming rule. These rules we have to follow in real-time design. We have to follow this case. We call it as camel case. Camel case is nothing but starts with lowercase, will have an uppercase, and again it will have lower. This is called camel case representation. I'm just using that tradition actually. Now this is a checkbox ready. Okay, we will do one thing for this. We will use class form switch. We learned switch type. We will put a class as form check as what? Input. Form check input. And you see here, this is the design, but you know that model is not going to display automatically. Model is not there. To display the model, we will put a button. So add new product. And what is the class? BTN, BTN primary, margin top 3, and it will have data BS toggle. What it should toggle? Data BS toggle model. Data BS target. Target is what? Hash add container. Add container. And you see now, I click on add new product. When I click on this, the pop-up will display. Oh, JavaScript not included. Huh? We have to include all the jQuery also. Na? In the body section, what we have to do, script source is what? Node modules, jQuery, dist, jQuery.js. So scripts, node modules. So this is bootstrap, dist, JS, bundle.js. Without jQuery, those data BS will not work, right? Now add new product, it will pop up and display. Now we have a form. And now user can fill up this form. After filling the form, he clicks on add. Whatever details he filled, we have to collect and we want to display. Right? That means user is going to input by using form elements. Previously, we used prompt. Prompt belongs to browser. And browser have only one option. What is it? Simple text box. We cannot customize. If you want, you have to do this. Right? I will change this button appearance at the bottom. So class BTN and BTN primary. So primary. Okay, W100 something. And you have this button here, add product. Now what should happen? These all details must be displayed when user clicks on add. Where to display that also we will decide. Below this, I will create a div and its ID is details container. In this details container, we will put a data list, DL, data term, we have name, data definition. So here I will put an ID, LVL name. Another data term, price, and data definition, ID, LVL what? Price. Another data term is city and ID as LBL city. And another term is stock and data definition ID as LBL stock. So we want to collect all the product details and display here. So product details we want to display here. You see, this is the product details. The name, price, city, stock, all this. I don't want it to display before the add, right? Then what we do? For this details container, we will apply style display as none. So it is hidden. When to show? When user clicks on add button, right? I will go here. This is the add product button. When user clicks on this add product button, two things should happen. One, model should close and it should display the details, right? To close the model, we can use data BS what? Dismiss. Dismiss is what? Model. And on click, we will say add click. We will write a function called add click. So we will go to the head section and here we will write the script. The script type is equal to text/JavaScript. And here we have a function add click. On add click, first we want to show the container. So which container we want to display details. So document dot get element by ID. What is it? Details container. To that we have to add style. Which style? Display. Display should be what? Block. That means to that container dynamically we are adding a style called display and display value is block. And I don't want this button. I don't want that button to display, right? If I don't want the button to display, let's do one thing. For this button, I will give an ID. I will give an ID as BTN. So the button ID as BTN register something. Now we will access that button document dot get element by ID BTN register dot style dot display. Display as what? None. Okay. Now you can see I add new product is there. I click on this. I will enter some details later and I click on add product. It will close the dialog and automatically it will display the details. Now extra what we have to do on click, we have to collect the data from those text boxes and display in data list, right? It's a very simple except stock. Why? Because stock is a checkbox. You have to verify is it checked or not, right? For others are very simple, straightforward. What is it? Collect the value from text box and display in label. What is the label? Document dot get element by ID LBL name dot what? Inner HTML. From where we have to collect the data from text box. What is the text box ID? Document get element by ID. What is it? TXT name dot what value. That's it. Same thing you have to do for others. That means document get element by ID LBL what? Price. price inner HTML, it should document get element by ID txt price dot value. Another one, document get element by ID lbl what city inner HTML, document get element by ID, what is it, lst cities dot value, that is drop down name. For drop down we give an ID as lst cities, lst cities only na, right? That is the ID we given for drop down. We have to access that and use it here. Up to this everything simple, because straightforward, collect value from text box and display inside data definition. For checkbox is not such. Why? Because checkbox we have to verify is it checked or not. If checked, we will show stock as available. If not checked, we will show stock as out of stock. Then first we will collect stock checkbox. How to collect stock checkbox? Document dot get element by ID chk stock. That is actually stock checkbox. Stock checkbox I given the ID as chk stock. That is the same ID I am using. This is stock checkbox. And I will declare another variable. Another one I will declare as stock status. It is an empty string. That means it's not having any value. The stock status will be available or out of stock. Depend on, it will be available or out of stock depending on checkbox checked or not. That means we will write a simple condition. If a stock checkbox dot checked, that means it is selected. If it is selected, what is stock status? Stock status should be what? Available. Else, what should be the stock status? Stock status we should display out of stock. That's it. And where to display this stock status? We have to display in this label LBL stock. So the stock status must be displayed here. Document dot get element by ID LBL stock dot inner HTML. We have to display what? Stock status. That's it. Now you see here, I will click on add new product. It will pop up a window. You enter the details, some new product, some price I entered, some city I selected, and stock is available. I click on add product. Those details are added. We can get the detail and display. And important here, I must able to make the changes in this. Then we will do one thing. If you want changes, then inside the data list, where is this data list? Yeah. Inside this data list here, I will add a button, and for button, I will give edit product or say modify product. And here we will put an option. Actually, you can put different symbols, icons you want. You know, generally what people do, we have bootstrap icon, link relation is style sheet, and href, yeah, href is node modules. We have bootstrap icons. In that font, bootstrap icons dot css. For this edit button, I will add like this. For this modify product, instead of that, I will just give as here, I will put a span and a class bi, and bi, so pen fill, something like this. And here I will give the word as edit. Okay, so then button have class btn warning, and you can see now on edit click, what should happen? The model should open again. That means here we have to use databs what? Target. Target is hash, which container? Add container. Databs toggle. Toggle is what? Model. And you see now, I am entering the details here. So we are clicking new product, we are entering some details, and we are entering some price, some city, stock is available, and click on add product. Those details are there. And after that, you see there is an edit button here. And when I click that edit button, then automatically the pop-up will come again. And important here, I can make the change in city or name or anything. I change it city as Delhi and click add product, and it changes that. But interesting point here is, remember, for every concept, hundreds of algorithms will be there. Hundreds of algorithms. In real-time project, that is one of the major thing. You see, you people, when you join any course, you will ask your faculty like, sir, at the end of the course, will you teach a project? Right? Then they will say that, yes, I will show you one project. How much time it will take for you to do a project on the technology that you have learned? In generally training, they will give 10 days, 15 days, or 1 month. So to do some project on the technology you have learned. That means in 1 month, you done a project. Seriously, in one month, you can do a project. Then you are greater than software companies, because they take 1-2 years to build an application. You done in 1 hour, 1 month. They will remove all of them and they will implement you only. They can give you 5 crores per annum package. They can give, because you will do in 1 month, na? Right? That means the project that you are designing, you are learning how to implement the technology and design an application. But in reality, in a project, for every concept, hundreds of algorithms are present. That means what will happen when user clicks like this? What will happen when user chooses from another way? That means for every concept, hundreds of logics they have to write. If they miss any one logic, then it leads to security issues. It leads to hacking. So it leads to failure of application. That's the reason it is not easy to build a project just in 1 month or 2 months designing. Because every concept need hundreds of algorithms. I will tell you here, simple point. So is it looking everything good? Is it looking everything good? We entered the details and we modified the details. We changed the details, some Samsung TV, something like this. I selected the city and I changed some price. We made some changes. After that, I am clicking on add product. That's not great. Why? Because already you added the product. Now what you are doing currently? Modifying. Then this button should be save button. Am I right? That means generally we have to think every consequence. Right? As of now, if I don't explain that, then you will never think about it. You will simply say that, it's very good, working fine. But you are missing certain points that are very important. That means everything should be implemented. Every concept we have to implement. That means it should not be add product button, because first time it should be add product. After you added, this should change to save. That means can we change like that? Yes, we can change. We can change like that. How you can change like that? That means when user clicks edit, this button which is inside model, it should change its text, its color, its effects, and as save. Let's see how to do that. So we will go to the button. Where is that button? The button is this add button. For this button, we will put an ID. How to access the button? It needs an ID. BTN what? Add. BTN add is the ID for that button. When user clicks on edit, so we have to write some logic for edit button. This is edit button. On click, we will write what it is. Edit click. Okay. We will write the function now. This one function is add click function. Below, above, anywhere you can write. Order is not important. Function. Next one is what? Edit click. On edit click, what we have to do is document get element by ID btn add. That is a HTML5 button. If it is HTML4 button, it is value. If it is a HTML5 button, it is like a container, means like a div or a span. Then we have to use what? Inner HTML. Inner HTML, I will put as save product. I will put the text as save product. If you want, you can change the class names also. Class names means colors, effects, everything you can change. Actually, it is using which class? btn primary class. That means you can change it. Like, let's see, document dot get element by ID, what it is? btn add, btn dot add dot, we have to apply class name. That means we have to use a property class name. Class name, what are the CSS class names you want to apply? btn, suppose I will give as success, btn success and w100. These are the classes I want to apply. Means I changed the classes, I changed the text. Now see what will happen. You click on add new product. When I click on add new product, its name was add product only. It is add product only. When I click on that, it is add product only now. Right. I am entering the details. I am entering the details. I am selecting these details and stock. And I click on add product. Then it will say stock is available. And now when I click on edit, then automatically it changes to save product. That means we are changing it dynamically. A button can change its appearance. It can change its text. Now what I am doing here, I am saying deselect this and click on save. Now it is out of stock because we are writing a condition. If checked, we display available, otherwise out of stock. So this is dynamically controlled, right? This is a simple example. You haven't learned any complex thing. This is beginner of JavaScript. That means it is very basic introduction of JavaScript. You haven't learned any complex design. Remember, here logic is only 10 lines. The complete concept is design. Logic is only 10 lines. The complete concept is your HTML, CSS, Bootstrap design. Design is lengthy, right? The functionality is just only two functions, add click, edit click. That means only 10 lines of logic you written. You haven't written any complex thing. It's a very simple starter program. It's a very basic starting level of JavaScript. So you have more complexity. So in JavaScript to handle, right? So this is just to make you understand how to manage input. Yesterday we designed, but yesterday's input was having all drop downs. Now this input is having checkbox, input is having text box, input is having drop down. Later in other examples, I will show you radios, list box, others also, right? So this is one important example. I hope you understood, right? How to take input from the user and how do we present that input, right? How do we accept input from the form? This example, I will give it to you. This is form input. I will copy this entire code for you. This is the form input related options. So I just given another example of input. So JavaScript input and output methods, how to manage. What are the output techniques we have? Alert, conform, document.write, inner HTML, outer HTML, inner text, and console methods. What are the input techniques we have? 3 input techniques. One is query string, another one prompt, another one form input. There are a lot of differences between. Query string is from the address bar, prompt have a simple text box, Can we customize the prompt? No. Then we have to design our own like this. We have to create all the elements and manually implement through Bootstrap, right? Yeah. This is all important about input and output. Now, once you know the basic input and output, now we will enter into the JavaScript language part. We will understand the language. Once we start learning language, we can do more better with this. And any programming language, basics are same. Whether you are learning Java, .NET, PHP, Python, any programming language, some language basics are common, right? So in JavaScript language, we are going to learn some language related concepts like variables, data types, operators, statements, and functions. These we will discuss in the language part. After this, we will go into OOP concept, object-oriented programming in JavaScript, right? First, we need to understand these basic things. These are the basic language concept, but so much content is there to discuss here. I'm saying that these are language basics. In any programming language, these are common. I hope you have these in your Java, .NET, everywhere, right? Variables, data types, operators, statements, functions. These are common in every programming language, right? So now the first thing is, so what are variables? Variables. So technically, what is a variable? Variables are storage locations in memory, where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. Technically, variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and you can use it as a part of any expression. So if you want some values to use again and again, then you can store your values in a memory location, and that we call as what? Variables. Variables are storage locations in computer programming where we store values and use as a part of any expression. For example, I will show you without a variable what is the problem, right? For example, see, I will create a simple output here. See, yeah, we will create a simple output here. We will write a simple script. Now I am writing a small program here, document.write, and here I am using the word hello. After hello word, I want to say hello to a user, and I will ask him to enter his name, username, and whatever username he enters, we will say hello to that user. Then how we can take input from user? I will do one thing. To this hello, I will add prompt. That means the value coming from prompt will be added to this hello. That means here I will say enter name. Enter your name. Okay. This is, after that I will put a BR. BR means break. That means in the first line, I am asking user to enter his name. And in the first line, I am saying hello to that username. In the next line, again, I want to address that username. That means in the next line, I want to say that, hi user, welcome to JavaScript. That means what I am doing here, document.write. We are using document.write. I am writing hi. And after hi, again, I want his username. Just now, previously we entered, but previously you entered, it is gone. whatever previously you entered, it is not stored anywhere. Then whatever you entered, it shows it. After showing it, it is disposed. Then in the next line, how you will access what he entered previously? No chance. Again, we have to ask here, prompt, what is it? Enter your name. This is not great. That means here I will say, welcome to JavaScript, something like this I am adding. That means if I want some name to be used in 3 places, I have to ask 3 times. Enter name, enter name, enter name. That's not great idea. Whenever he enters the name first time, then store it in some place and you can access and use it from any place. That is the concept of a variable. That means you can allocate a memory. In that memory, you can store a value and you can access and you can use the value any number of times from any place. That means now see here, this works. This is going to work. That means I will run this and it will say enter your name. Okay, first time I entered name. It is asking again enter name. Because 2 times it has to use my name. Then it is asking 2 times enter name. Then I entered again name. Then it will display that, okay, hello John, hi John, welcome to JavaScript. That's not a great idea. That means you cannot ask every time enter name, enter name, enter name. Once he enters, store it and use it. That is the concept of what? That is the concept of variable. What is the advantage of variable? You can store a value and you can access and use from various locations. And important here, actually, this is the simple example. So without variable, this is the concept. Without variable, this is the program I will give to you. This is without variable. Now with variable, what we do? With variable, what we do is, so here we will declare a variable username, and into that we will ask the prompt and we will say enter your name. And once we take that from him, we can use it anywhere here. Anywhere we can use that username. Anywhere we can use that username. Am I right? Anywhere we can use that username. So every time no need to ask prompt. Right? Once he enters those details, we will store in some place. And we can access and we can use in various places. That means now you see here the same thing, but this time it will ask prompt only once. And you entered some name, it will take it and use it in several places. Previously, it have to ask every time. 5 times I want a username, 5 times it will prompt. Now take the username, keep it in one place and you can access and you can use it. So this is the concept of a variable. I will copy this here. This is an example with the variable. With variable, it looks like this. So technically, variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. And here, when you are working with variables, you should know that variable configuration comprises of 3 phases. Variable configuration comprises of 3 phases. In every programming language, variable configuration contains 3 phases. We have 3 important phases. One is 3 phases. One is declaration, another one is assignment, and another one is initialization. Variable configuration contains 3 phases. Every variable configuration contains 3 phases. We have a declaration, we have an assignment, and we have an initialization. Usually variable comprises of these three things. For example, I will show you here a simple, roughly see the point here. So actually I'm using some var x, I am defining like this. After that, I am using x equal to 10. Now what I am doing in the second line? No, it is not initialization. It is assignment. It is assignment, not initialization. That means generally programming level people have a wrong idea about it. They say initialization. That means we are initializing a value. No, it's not initialization. Initialization means at the time of declaring itself, you send a value into it. That is called initialization. At the time of declaring itself, you send some value into it. Then it is called initialization. That is not initialization. That means the first line is this first line. This first line is actually declaration. That is declaration. The second line is assignment, not initialization. The second line is this assignment. That is an assignment. This is a simple assignment. That is assignment. It is not initialization. This is assignment. What is initialization? Initialization means at the time of declaring variable, if you send value into it, this is called initialization. That is called initialization, right? If you just defined a name, then it is declaring. After declaring, you send some value into this. After declaring, you send some value into this, then it is always assigned. While declaring itself, you send some value into it. This is called initialization. Now, after initialization, y is equal to 50. What I am doing now? What I am doing now? Assignment. Any number of times you can assign. I am not initializing 50. 50 is not initialized. 50 is assigned. What is initialized? 40. Why 40 is initialized and 50 is assigned? For example, I defined y is equal to 60. Assign any number of times assignment. Any number of times assignment. That means every variable have three phases. A declaration phase, a initialization and assignment. When you call it as declaration, if there is no value inside, only reference name is there. There is no value inside, only reference, then it is called declaring. After the declaring, you can assign. While declaring, you can initialize. These are the three basic features, the three basic important things. So we have declaration. That means if say var x, this is called what? Declaring. X equal to 10. This is called what? Assignment. So assign. And suppose we have var x equal to 10. This is called what? Initialize. I'm just keeping it separate syntax. Right? So variable have three phases: declaring, assignment, and initialization. And one important thing is actually JavaScript allows directly assignment. Allows directly assignment without declaring if it is not in strict mode. If it is not in strict mode, JavaScript allows directly assignment without declaring if it is not in strict mode. I told you JavaScript strict mode. For example, so here, suppose we are writing a script here. In this script, we are saying x equal to 10. And I am using document.write x equal to the value of x. and we close the script here. And you see here, this is valid. That is valid. Am I declaring X? I am not declaring X. I am not declaring X, directly assigning value. So directly assigning value. It is possible if JavaScript is not in strict mode. If JavaScript is in strict mode, then declaring is compulsory. That means declaring is compulsory if it is in strict mode. That means if JavaScript is in strict mode, declaring variable is mandatory. If JavaScript is in strict mode, declaring variable is mandatory, compulsory. You must declare. Declaring variable is mandatory. Without declaring, you cannot use it. Without declaring, you cannot use it. And remember, initialization also happens after declaring only. That means at the time of declaring itself, you have to initialize. So declaring is mandatory for a variable if it is in strict mode. That means the same syntax will fail. So if I write like this, how to turn on the strict mode? At the top, we have to use strict. When I use strict, then you turned on the strict mode, X equal to 10, and say document.write X equal to plus X. And here we close the script, and actually now this is invalid. And it simply says that, so X is not defined. It will simply say that X is not defined. Because when it is in strict mode, variable declaration is compulsory. It is mandatory. Variable declaration is not mandatory if you are not in strict mode. You can directly declare, you can directly assign value. That is declaring. Now here important is how do we declare variables in JavaScript? Actually, JavaScript variables are declared by using three keywords. We have three important keywords: var, let, and const. These are the three important keywords. How to declare variables in JavaScript? Is declaration mandatory? That depends on strict mode. If JavaScript is in strict mode, declaration is mandatory. If JavaScript is not in strict mode, you don't need to declare. And how to declare a variable? In JavaScript, to declare variable, we have three keywords. We have var, we have let, and const. Now the question is, what is difference between them? You can declare variable by using all the three. Then when to use them, what is difference between var, let, and const? These are major things. Let's see what is difference between them. First, we will see what is this var. So what is the concept of var? Actually, var defines a function scope variable. It defines a function scope variable. Var defines a function scope variable. Function scope variable means you can declare in any block of a function and can access from any another block inside function. That is called function scope. I will show you practically this. So var defines a function scope variable. Function scope means you can declare in any block of a function and you can access from any another block. I will show you this, what is meant by this. So it is a function scope variable. Function scope variables. So like this, generally function scope variable. What is a function scope variable is C. For example, I am declaring here, I am creating a simple function called some f1. Okay. And after writing the function, to see the result of this function, you have to call this function. That means I will call the function f1. Then it will execute that function. So we have to write a function and we have to execute the function. And inside this function, I am writing var x. What I am doing here, what happened here? Declaration. We are declaring a variable called x. After that, we entered 10. What I am doing? Assignment. And I am using a condition if x equal to 10. This is called a block. So in a function, we have a block. In this block, I am defining var y equal to 20. What I have done here? Initialized. I initialized. But where I initialized and declared y, it inside a block, if block. We designed in a if block. And see, I want to print the value of x and y. I am using outside this if block. I am writing document.write x equal to plus x and br line break plus y is equal to plus y. I am printing the value of x and y. And see here, actually, this is a block. In that block, you initialized and declared a variable y. Now you are trying to access outside that block. You are trying to access outside that block. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. That is the advantage of var. See the definition. What you written? You can declare in any block a function and for an access from any another block. Inside that function only na. Inside which function we are having f1. In any block you can access, outside, inside, anywhere. That is the nature of var. That means var will make your variable as function scope. You declare in any block, it is accessible to entire function. That is the advantage of var. That means you can access outside that block also. This is actually the block. We can access outside the block. It is okay, no problem. And very important, you just saw that it allows declaring, it allows assignment and initialization. All three are allowed. Var allows declaring, var allows assignment, and var allows initialization. It is allowing all the three things. So it is allowing declaring, it is allowing assignment, and it is allowing initialize. It is allowing all the three. And you can see now, when I run this here, you can see y is working fine, no problem. Y is working fine. Even it is declared in a block, you can access outside the block. That's what we are doing here. You can see I'm accessing outside that block. It's working fine because it is declared by using which keyword? Var. And do you know what this var keyword will do? It will make this y function scope. If it makes function scope, anywhere inside the function you can access. Anywhere inside the function you can access. That is what actually. And you know that this is called as what? Declaring. This is called as what? Assignment. This is called as what? Initialization. So that is initialization. declaring assignment initialization. And very interesting point here is actually where it allows shadowing, where allows shadowing also. What is shadowing? Let's see. Where allows shadowing is nothing but, see, I will define here. So y is initialized. Y is initialized to how much? 20. After that, I said y equal to 30. What I am doing? I am assigning. Is it possible? Is it possible to assign? Yes, it is possible to assign. You can see it is assigned with a new value 30. Now, what I am doing here, I am using, so where y30 again or 40 I am using again. This time I am not assigning. I am reinitializing the variable again. In the same area, I am reinitializing the same name variable again. This is called shadowing. It is not supported in several programming languages. JavaScript supports. JavaScript supports with var only. This is called shadowing. We call it as shadowing. This is not assigning. This is shadowing. Why we shadow variables? Because sometimes generally we are using web applications. In web application browser, what happens? It keeps the temporary data. And when you try to use new data, it is added to temporary data, which is already there. To that it is added. That leads to a lot of issues. That's the reason we need to reset. Same name, but reset the memory again. The name is same for memory, but we have to reset the memory. Why we need to reset memory? Because we want to send some new data into it. In that case, we use a mechanism called shadowing. And it is supported. It supports shadowing. And you see now, it is not any problem with JavaScript with var because it allows shadowing. It is not showing anything problem. It is allowing shadowing. What is shadowing concept? Shadowing is nothing but, shadowing is the process of redeclaring or reinitializing same name identifier within the scope. This is called as shadowing. It is the process of redeclaring or reinitializing same name identifier within the scope. That means actually you declared some var x equal to 10 like this, and again you defined x equal to 20. It will allow. This is called as what? Shadowing. That is shadowing. That means x is shadowed. That means the new memory is used. Why we have to shadow variables? Because sometimes they continue the previous data we don't want. We want to reset. But we want with the same name memory to reset again. In that case, we use this shadowing mechanism. And this is not supported in many situations in different types of programming languages. But JavaScript supports with the help of var. Right. Another important point is var allows hoisting. Var allows hoisting. It supports hoisting also. So it is not hosting. Hosting is different. Hoisting is different. HOST, host. That is hosting. This is hoisting. Hoisting and hosting is different concept. For example, you see here, I will copy this one. This is called as what? This is as shadowing. Okay, I will copy this code for you and I will put it here. That is an example for declaring assignment, initialization, and shadow. What is hoisting is nothing but, see here, the concept of hoisting is, it's a general term. Generally, you know, we use flag hoisting. right? Just 2 days back, you hoisted flag. Why we hoist flag? What kind of question you are asking? Huh? But seriously, why you hoist a flag? Feeling prouder? Then to see higher? Why you hoist flags? What is the meaning of hoisting a flag? See, the general meaning of hoist is, for example, just roughly, suppose we have some mountains, right? And we have some group of people here. So some group of people are here. And then this group of people, this mountain is, it is too far. That means it is approximately, suppose say 1 kilometer distance is there. Now what happens is, one of these people, one of this person from this group, right? And he traveled to this mountain. He traveled to the mountain. Obviously, these people cannot see him because it is 1 kilometer distance. They cannot see him. Then what he will do is, he will hoist a flag here. He will hoist a flag here. So hoist a flag here. And the meaning of hoisting flag is to tell that I am here. The meaning of hoisting a flag is to tell that I am here. That means now what happens is, these people cannot see him, but they can see this. And they know that, okay, he is there. That means why anybody goes to Everest and hoist a flag? To say that I am here. Right? Why somebody reaches moon and say hoist a flag there? To tell that we are here. That means they are there. That means you see some wars happen. Somebody conquers some fort. They hoist a flag to tell that we are here. Hoisting a flag is to tell that, hoisting is to tell that we are here. Now what is this mechanism? What is the hoisting mechanism means? From far we can see that, okay, he is there. That means the point here is, see, observe carefully. Here I am turning here, use strict. That means currently we are in strict mode. X equal to 10. Document dot write x equal to plus x. Is it valid? It is not valid. Why? Because in strict mode, variable declaration is compulsory. So I am declaring a variable here. Is it valid? It is valid. That means you see now what happens is, your translator is interpreter, na? Interpreter is nothing but JavaScript interpreter, translator. It will start here. The JavaScript interpreter starts here. It will gradually come line by line. Line by line it is coming. Suddenly it sees that there is some x10. But x is not declared because you are in strict mode. But x is defined using a var here. Am I right? Now what var can do is, this var is going to hoist your x here. It is going to hoist your x. Then compiler can see from here and it will use here. That means you can declare anywhere you want, which is not possible in all programming languages. Your other programming languages will immediately say that I can't find x. And it will say that x is used before declaring. Am I right? But this is possible because your var will flag it. That means it will hoist your x, so that compiler can see from the far that, okay, there is x. right? And it will find from there and it will pick up from there. So it's possible, it's no problem. That means usually you see this here. Suppose I am not declaring. If I am not declaring, see, it is an error, obviously. Let's go to inspect. JavaScript related all the problems you can find in console. Go to console. You will see X is not defined now. X is not defined because we are in strict mode. I will declare X here, where X I am using before declaring. That is possible. That means I will save this now here. I will save this here and it is okay, working fine. That is the mechanism of hoisting. You can initialize. Suppose I am initializing 5. Now which one is latest? 10. Obviously what it will display? It will display 10. If I don't define here, it's okay because you can use it. It will work. It says undefined. Why it is undefined? Because the value of X is not defined. That you will see. I will tell you about data types, then you will understand. But it is not an error. It is not an error. It is saying that X value is not recognized yet because it will recognize later. But important is this is not the concept of declaring. This is what? Initializing. Initializing, after that you are assigning. You can assign anywhere you want. You can assign anywhere you want and you can see it is going to handle that. So what is the concept of hoisting? Hoisting means there is no order of declaring and using. Actually, in computer programming languages, there is an order for declaring and using. First we have to declare, then we have to use. But here we can directly use without declaring. That mechanism is called as what? Hoist. We call it as hoisting. What is hoisting? It is the process of declaring and using a variable from any location. So there is no order dependency. So you can declare, you can use and declare later in function. That's what actually hoisting is. It is the process of declaring and using a variable from any location. There is no order dependency. You can use and declare later in function. There is no order dependency. That is the concept of hoisting. So syntactically, it is nothing but you have a script and it is in a strict mode and we have X equal to 10 and you are trying to print it. Document.write X equal to plus X. And here we are printing so, and where to declare at the end, na? Where X. This is called as what? Hoist. That is hoisting. So we have a larger scope. That means what is the point about where? So where defines which scope? Function scope. Function scope means what? Function scope means you can declare in any block and you can access from any another block. You can declare from any block and access from any another block. That is what actually function scope. And it allows declaring, it allows assigning, and it allows initialize. All the three are allowed. Extra, it allows what? Shadowing. And it also allows hoisting. What is shadowing? Shadowing is redeclaring or reinitializing same name identifier again in the scope. And hoisting is the mechanism of declaring and using without any order dependence. right? That is what the concept of var, right? Next important, we have let. So it defines block scope variable, block scope variable. So it is accessible within the specified block, within the specified block, and to its inner blocks, and to its inner blocks. It is accessible within the specified block and to its inner blocks. So this mechanism actually, this mechanism is known as closure. It is called as closure. What mechanism? Declaring in a block and making it available to its inner blocks. That mechanism is called as closures. We call it as closure. Closure is a mechanism where outer block contents are accessible to inner, but inner block contents are not accessible to outer. So that is the closure mechanism, and very important, it supports declaring, assignment, and initialization. It supports all the three things: declaring, assignment, initialization. Everything is supported. It supports all the three things: declaring, assignment, initialization. It will not support shadowing. It will not support shadowing. It will not support hoisting also. So shadowing and hoisting is supported only by using var. It will not support shadowing. It will not support hoisting. So it is more restricted when compared to var. So if you don't want anybody to use same name again, and you don't want anybody to use before declaring, then you can restrict them by using what? let. If you configure with let, it will not allow shadowing, it will not allow hoist, and it is a block scope. And see here, now I will configure again here function f1 and call the function, and here we are declaring let x equal to 10. I will just put all the parts. Let x equal to 10. If x equal to 10, I declared a block. Let y is equal to 20. And here I am accessing document.write x equal to plus x, and line break, and y is equal to plus y. I'm just using like this. Now important here, we declared this variable y inside a block. This time we declared by using which keyword? let. It is not accessible outside. It's not possible. It is not possible. Var allows, but let will not allow. Let defines a block scope variable. Block scope variable, in which block you defined, it is accessible only in this block. There are some inner blocks, it's accessible there also. So it is not accessible outside the block, not possible. That means you can see here, you can see when I run this, it shows an error saying that y is not defined. Because y is declared inside, you are trying to access outside, it's not possible. Okay, let's shift this line into this block. Is it possible now? But see, x is not here. X is not inside this block. Is it still possible? Yes. Why? Because let is outside and it is accessible to inner blocks also. That is the block scope means. Block scope means let is currently in which block? Function block. And its inner block is if. Now, outer block members are accessible to inner block. That is possible. That's what I given in the definition. That means it allows to access the outer block in inner block. But inner block is not accessible to outer. Now you can see that here it is going to work fine, no problem. And very important is I am using y is equal to 30. Is it possible? What I am doing here? I am shadowing. I am not shadowing. I am assigning. Assigning is supported now. Right? That is allowed. That means it is allowed. Assignment is allowed. No problem. Okay. I will try to shadow it. That means again LETY. Is it valid? It is not valid. Immediately it shows an error. Y is already declared. But it was allowing with var. Var allows shadowing. LET will not allow shadowing. Okay. For example, if I declared this, I declared already this with var. Now I defined y. Is it possible now? Not possible. Don't trust on red marks. I know that you have answered this by seeing red line came or not. Am I right? Right? Don't trust on that. That means these are not professional tools of JavaScript. We are just using them. They have a lot of issues. They don't suggest so many things correctly. We can't completely depend on them. Right? That means this is not possible. Why? Because shadowing means declaring same name identifier again. It is not about which keyword you are using. It is about is that name already taken by somebody. Understood? That means it is not about who declared, where declared, LET declared. It is about is that name taken. Anybody may take that name. Is that name taken? For example, you are using Gmail in India. Somebody is using Gmail in US. That means for Indian people, one ID and US people, another ID is possible. It's not possible. Anywhere worldwide, one ID, one name. With that name, it will you have another one to take, that it will says no. Already in our data, it is taken. That means here the point is it's not about which keyword you are using. It is about which ID you are using. Right? That means this is also not possible. This is also not possible. It's not possible. If I declare both with var, now possible. That means it allows to shadow. So LET will not allow to shadow. It will not allow to shadow. It's not possible at all. And it will not even allow hoisting. For example, see now. So we are in strict mode. So we have to keep use what? Strict. And we are using x equal to 10. Document dot write x equal to plus x. LET x I am using. And you can see that it is not possible. You cannot hoist, cannot access before initialization. It was not a problem with var because when you use var, it can hoist your variable. LET cannot hoist your variable, so it's not possible. So LET will not allow. It will not allow to hoist and it will not allow to shadow. So LET is more restricted when compared to what? Var. That depends on requirement. You cannot say which one is best. Right? Because if any one is best, only one, that one should be given to us. Right? That depends on situation requirement. We have to use all these. Right? Now, another one is we have const. So const, it defines block scope variable. This is also block scope variable. It defines block scope variable. What is a block scope variable? No need to explain. Already we know. But very important is it supports only initialization. It supports only initialization. It will not support declaring and assigning. Not support. It will not support declaring and assigning. Only initialization. Only initialization. So it will not support. It will not support shadowing and hoisting. It is more restricted than LED. That means it will not even allow to declare and assign. LED will allow to declare and assign. So, but this will not allow to declare and assign. It will allow only initialization. Only initialization. That is important. It will support only initializations. So, for example, here you see now, it is also block scope actually. This is also block scope. Now, what I am doing is, in this function, I am writing here const x equal to 10. Document dot write x equal to plus x. And you see here, what we are doing, we are declaring and we are assigning. And see, immediately it says that missing initializer. So now we know what is initializing, right? That means this second line is not initializing, that is assigning. So it is saying that initialization missing. Okay, I will initialize here equal to 20 or equal to 5. Is it valid? Is it valid? Is it valid? Why? After initializing, you are trying to assign. Assign is not supported. It will not support assigning. Only initialization. It will not support assigning. X equal to 10, we are trying to assign. And you see that when I refresh, it will say that assignment cannot happen. You cannot assign. Right? That means it supports only initialization. Only initialization is supported. It will not allow anything. That means it is more restricted. Without initializing a value, you cannot go forward. Then you have to define const. That means sometimes what we say that price. Without mentioning price, they can't move forward. If I declare, if I use var or let, what they can do, they can ignore price and they say that later I will give. But if I say const price, that means they must mention a value, at least a 0. And very important, this is interesting part here. So the concept is, suppose you say 0. That means the value of x is 0. Now what many people say that x is read only. X is read only. Many people say that x is read only. Read only means what? We cannot change. Read only means we cannot change. But this is not read only. This is constant. Constant is different. Read only is different. Then many people will ask like, then how you will change, sir? Because you are saying that read only is different, constant is different. Constant is different, read only is different. Constant means initialization is compulsory. Read only means you cannot change. Obviously, constant we can't change. Na? That means suppose you say x equal to 20. Can I change? Cannot change. By seeing this, people think that it is read only. But it is not read only. It is not read only because constant also can change. See, if I ask this through a prompt, if I ask enter number, then you see what will happen now. I will refresh here. I will enter 10. It takes 10. Can I change this 10? I enter 20. It will take. Is constant changing? Yes, constants also can change. But when they will change at the time of initialize. That means whenever you want to send a new value into constant, again initialize. Whenever again you initialize, it can change. You should never say constant is read only. Then interviewer will ask, then what is read only? That means you cannot say constant and read only are both same because constant is different and read only is different. Constant is about initialized value or not. And read only is about unable to change the value. Can a constant value change? Yes, a constant value can change at the time of initialization. You can send a new value. You can reinitialize any number of times. Dynamically, we can reinitialize any number of times and we can use them. That's what I done here with a prompt. I am reinitializing the values and sending some new value into it. This is the concept of const. So const is more restricted, and obviously it will not support hoisting. That means you say x equal to 10. So document dot write. So x is equal to the value of x, and you say const. So you say const x. Is it possible? No, because declaring is not allowed now. Okay, suppose you defined like this. That means you defined like this, x equal to 10, initialize and try to use. This is trying to hoist, and it is not possible. You cannot. It says that you cannot access before what? Initialize. That is the point. So we have the three important things. I hope you understood the difference. Var, let, and const. What is var? Function scope. What is let and const? Block scope. Var allows declaring, assignment, initialization. Let also allows. Const allows only initialization. Var allows shadowing. Var allows hoisting. Let const will not allow shadowing and hoist. Right? These are the concept about variable. Now naming variables, data types, we will discuss in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that. Okay? Right.